Hey everybody, this is Don with the vlog of many things, and with me tonight are the natural normal three. Natural normal. We got Glenn, we got Eric, we got Steve. Gentlemen, how y'all doing tonight?
Doing good.
Abby normal brain. That's what I got.
Yeah.
Well, tell Abby to take it back then. Get this out of the way first. Buy my book. Okay, we can start the show now.
Okay. He has his blue headphones on down below, so we can start the video. Now it's an official show because Glenn said buy his book.
Buy a book. My GoFundMe is $150 away from being complete.
Yay!
Yay!
So today we're going to talk a little bit about tariffs, because something interesting that to Ed Lazors, Thaddeus, how you doing? Credit asked an interesting thing today is the Supreme Court recently said that tariffs were deemed not legal, not proper, blah blah blah. No one a consequence. How you doing? And Matt, how you doing? So Ed Lazor asked a question about should retailers get their tariffs back? And the comments section was a hoot. So I want to talk a little bit about tariffs. We're going to talk a little bit about the 90,000 EAN code, because I received an email from an individual because I said that he uses nothing but 90,000 EAN codes, and this certain game designer took great offense to it. So
somebody got bugged. What a surprise!
So we're going to talk about the 90,000 code on the back of a book. Why is that called the ISBN of Doom? And also viewer mail. And like last week, we're going to talk about viewer mail first, or the week before, excuse me, because viewer mail is actually interesting this week.
The code you're talking about is like here. The one
yes,
here.
And Glenn will notice he does not have a 90,000 EAN code or ISBN code.
That's right. It's legit, folks.
It's legit. Now, we'll get into that. A 90,000 ISBN is legit, but it is an ISBN of doom, and I'll get into that in a little bit. So every week we always have Thaddeus, real quick. Thaddeus, we're going to get into this, okay, in a little bit. So we're going to go viewer mail first, but I will read your question. Thaddeus says the ruling has a lot more nuance and characterized. They were illegal under one statute, but it would be legal under about 7 others. That's up for political.
Tariffs have been around for ages.
Yes.
It's how they get implemented and the what authorization.
Bingo. It's not the fact that tariffs are illegal. Again, Thaddeus, you're going to have all the time in the world to talk about this. It's just the fact that what they said was the president does not have the power to give unilateral tariffs like he did without approval. Bad Mike, how you doing? So let's get to the questions. As everybody knows, the vlog of many things at gmail.com. We have that email scrolling across the bottom. We had a bunch. We always tell people, if you have a question, show idea, comment, something you want us to talk about, throw it in there. We'll use it. We had this week 26 emails.
Holy crap.
Or in the last 2 weeks, 26. But I have only pulled 10 because, in all fairness, the other 16 were absolute nonsensical BS.
That's normal.
Yeah, and I think Voldemort might have got one in on us today, but we'll talk about that in a minute.
Okay.
So I'm just going to go right down the list, because what I did is I went from oldest to newest, and we covered the gambit here. Everything from AI to Ken Whitman to game design. It's interesting. Just bear with me, and I'm sure we're going to get some viewer comments. Charlie from Knoxville. And by the way, real quick, like we always tell people, we talk about email. When you email me, just tell me what your first name is and what city and state you're from. Or, as you can tell from viewer comments, you don't really have to do that because nobody follows any instructions anyway. So why not?
Oh, come on, man.
Thaddeus, we're going to get to it. Trust me, my friend. We'll take tariffs first. Okay. So Charlie from Knoxville says this. Eric, this is about you.
All right. Hold on. I'm getting get myself all focused and shit.
Get all focused.
Hold on. Let me get the microphone ready so I can answer this right.
Now, in all fairness, Eric has addressed this question before, but I don't know if you've addressed it on this show or not. So, Charlie says, and thank you for doing an email. This is civil, by the way, not in any way being jerk matter. Says Tenkar talks a lot Tenkar talks about using Chat GPT in his video, yet you all talk how you're anti-AI. Can 10car and all of you discuss how you can be anti-AI, but use it for your content? No intent of being a dick here. I love your show. I'm a lurker, but I think it's an honest question to ask. And the reason I'm including this question real quick is because Eric does use AI in his channel, but the reason he does is real legit. And I think Eric should have another one to say it on. Eric?
So I kind of use AI as a production assistant. Okay. It is part of the process, but it's not the full process. Honestly, yes, my thumbnails are AI generated. I own up to that, and I've gotten to the point where my thumbnails are consistent. They have, I don't know, the 10-car look, which is awesome. I don't have I do a video a day. I don't have an artist that's going to be able to do.
You do more than one video a day usually.
I'm not talking about the live stream, but I'm talking about I do an 8 to 14-minute video a day. Now that requires me to get a script a day. A lot of times what I do is I have my ideas, I have my notes, I've got a couple of paragraphs, but I can put that in the chat GPT. It can give me an outline for a script, which then I can polish and turn into a workable script, which then I can put back into chat GPT to edit to see if I screwed anything up. So it is like having an editor. It's like having a production assistant. But if you just tell ChatGPT, give me 10 scripts, you're going to get 10 pieces of crap because it's garbage in, garbage out. You have to supply it with
info,
the building blocks.
And real quick, I will say one thing or two things in Eric's defense. Is number one, Eric is right that it helps for brand acknowledgement if your
thumbnails are consistent.
Thumbnails are very consistent.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sorry, but even I now see a thumbnail and I can say that's Eric's.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's 10-car Tavern, and that's a positive thing. Plus, right. Eric is not. Although Eric's channel is monetized, as is most YouTube channels with 10,000 plus subs, I'm going to throw that shit in your way all the time. Because I'm going to be able to say I knew him when he was under 1,000 subs. But anyway, but also in all fairness, Eric shared something with me because I asked Eric about, scripts helping AI, and Eric sent me his kind of way he does it. And I was blown away about how much work actually goes into getting decent stuff out of AI. It's not Eric goes, give me a script on gaming for today. No. Eric, blown away. 4 pages.
And the thing is, that's just to get something that I can then work off of and turn into what I want. Now, there are channels out there. You're going to see them, which are AI voice, AI video, AI script, AI topics, AI everything. And YouTube is taking a banhammer to a lot of that stuff because it's repetitive.
Well, also it's confusing because AI is getting so good now. There's literally 2 and 3 minute long videos where it's all AI, but it looks like real people.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've done double takes on some stuff.
Yeah.
But again, it is a productivity enhancer. But
yes.
Without it, I could probably do 3 or 4 scripts a week.
Well,
and my thumbnails would be useless.
Well, Sebastian Expander, thank you for coming on. Sebastian says something that's very, I think, true. He says, or she, don't know which one you are, says maybe we all can use AI for some things, but not want to become the whole content. I think that right there is the core argument. Yep. And Matt, thanks for coming on. Matt says AI is acceptable as long as it doesn't cost to see it, in my opinion. Thus, the crossover of why. And I'll just speak as a game publisher and product publisher. And we do have a few product publishers in here. Rob Conley, thanks for coming in. A few other are in here that do content for gaming. The problem that I have with it is when you utilize AI and sell it as your own work your own creativity, et cetera, et cetera. And we are having, by the way, I didn't tell the guys yet, I just found out literally 10 minutes. We are having a fairly well-known artist who is all over the place on Drive Through RPG, does a lot of stock, color, and black and white AI, sorry. Kick me in my ass. I know a lot of stock artwork for people, and he's going to come on and talk about, in his opinion, why AI is harmful in a couple weeks.
Oh, and that's, listen, again, I use it for thumbnails, but I'm the same person who has, over the years, spent thousands of dollars on artwork, on original artwork for the blog headers, for the second edition of Swords and Wizardry Continua Light, which never happened. But I value original art hugely. Yeah. Okay, if I'm going to be doing a project, I'm not using AI. But if I'm doing thumbnails, and thumbnails have one purpose, that they're to be seen in the midst of a sea of other thumbnails and catch somebody's attention, no art's going to keep up with me for the price of I don't know, $20 a month. And get me a thumbnail a day, not even on Fiverr.
No, and on top of that, Ricky LMTM, excuse me if I get it wrong, says something very important. Thank you for getting info from the channel. We appreciate it. But he says something very important. He says AI is here to stay. You don't have to lose yourself to it, but to outright forbid it is to scream and win. And that's a true. And we could spend a 2-hour-long video talking about that. But you are 100% right. Pengard says, why I stick to the people on here. I know people I've watched for years. Sebastian says, hey, Robert. Then he says, I never met a female Sebastian. Sebastian, I am just walking the careful road here because you never know these days, okay? And then Rob says, the first survey from Empyrean Games in 1990 was a bunch of pseudo-gender AI crap. Not new in industry. AI. Sorry, Thyatis says, and we'll get to the next question, says AI art can't be copywritten upheld many times in court, so it's literally open source commons content, so the only to profit off it is enriching it in some way as part of another product. And as always, AI is a hot topic here because the chat is just, comments are blowing up. And so I guess that's my whole point is I'm not anti-AI. I think AI is an awesome tool. AI is an awesome thing. It's going to be here to stay. I've said that, I think, from day one, but it's all on how you use it. And there are some people out there that abuse it. Okay. Now, real quick, Mohan45 from Racine, Kentucky says and asks us, I see, and this is about conventions, I see a lot more smaller conventions cropping up, especially on the East Coast. Do you think this saturation is a bad thing or a good thing for gamers? Some of these conventions are charging $100 or more for a weekend ticket, and close to that even for a day ticket. GaryCon is one also that keeps the real games, GaryCon is one that keeps the real prime games with famous people upstairs in the suites to get in, they charge thousands. I thought conventions were about fans playing games and meeting their idols and those who they look up to. Since many of you on here and in the comments, do conventions and or go to them, I would like everybody's hot take on this.
Okay.
Well, I guess I'll say it like this real quick. As someone who has a game convention, I understand, and we, of course, and Bad Mike is in the chat. Bad Mike is the purveyor of North Texas RPG Con. Nice convention. My attitude, and this is Don's attitude when it comes to WizardCon, is the price that people charge for their convention is the market will hold what the market holds. And sometimes it's all dependent upon how many people you have coming, what are you giving your special guests, how much the venue is. So a lot can factor into the cost. I have heard things about GaryCon with the upper suites in charging. I think I was one lady who came to WizardCon last year. She had, they were very pro Luke Gygax, wear the Luke GaryCon Gygax jerseys even. She was very talkative, very nice to me. And she said they paid $5,000 to attend a special game that was with Joe Manganiello, I think his name
Yeah,
is,
Joe Manganiello, yeah.
and plus a bunch of big names with Luke and such in the upper suite, as she put it. Now, I do not know the truth of that. But that's what she told me directly. If somebody in comments knows, then by
There
all
are
means.
Gary Con has some very high priced games. I believe the money's raised from that's supposed to go toward charities.
Yes, and on top of that, Bad Mike makes a very, very good point here. He says, if people are not getting their money's worth, the con will fail. It is that simple.
Exactly.
Bingo.
Yep.
I'm going to about 5 cons this year. They're all smaller cons.
Yeah.
North Texas is the biggest one, 600 people. I listen. Can you have too many cons? Well, a lot of the smaller cons are regional cons.
Yes.
Okay, people are going to drive to them. Now, people aren't going to fly to a 2-day con for the most part.
Yeah,
they're going to drive. So that means that you're not competing against cons in the Midwest if you're on the East Coast. Now, if you're a couple of thousand, that's when you got competition going on. But I agree with Mike. If you don't give your attendees value for their money, your con's not going to last. But you also have to charge enough to be in the black. You don't want to run a con at a loss. Okay.
Oh, absolutely not. It's a business.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and Bad Mike says the highest price tickets at GaryCon are in fact $5K range. They also have tiers at $1K. My big thing is this about a game convention. I see Mohan 45's logic here. A lot of cons are coming up. So in answer to that question, opinions, thoughts, I am very pro. Listen, it's like anything. Yes, a lot of more smaller conventions are cropping up now. I know of at least 4 or 5 in 2026 that are new. But again, it's kind of like the call is going to happen. Either you're going to offer value or you're not.
Well, my question is going to be, are these new cons actually filling a need, or are they just out there to fluff their feathers?
Well, I mean, I guess when you say fill a need or fluff feathers, I guess, what is the need? If
like
the
West
need
Texas,
is,
I think was it West Texas, or was it it was the New York one where he didn't have anything local, so he made his own con. That one filled a need.
Bingo. Yes. You're talking about
CNY.
Central New York. Yeah, Central New York. Yes, Roger Rebus. By the way, he had his first con like us last year, and sterling. Everybody's went to it, raved.
Yep. No, it was awesome. Both WizardCon and CNY for first year cons, I was floored at how well they went.
Thank you. We were very, very nervous about first year, and I agree with Roger. It's that Saturday when you stare outside the room and see people gaming, you're like, holy shit, I did it.
Yeah.
But also I think the thing with cons is, again, the call will happen because you're going to have conventions that look at their post-convention feedback and learn from it. And you're going to have people that go, no, I know what I'm doing. It's going to be my way or the highway because I like it this way.
Fluffing the feathers.
Yeah, fluffing the feathers. So, interesting. I don't think you can have too many because they'll be full up. Bad Mike says, I feel like cons like North Texas are not in competition with cons like Gary Con or the high price cons. Agreed, 100%. I have nothing against them charging that much because the attendees are looking for something else. 100% agree with Bad Mike on this. Matt Sherman says, I'm doing 3 this year. Hope have to travel for each. You know what? Yeah, I mean, and again, it's just what it is. Malia Start says, cons and vendor shows lately are forgetting about the kids. Growing up, it was centralized around your younger generations combined. Yeah. I think that as a convention, you have to kind of look at kids. That's why, like on Sunday for WizardCon, you'll see a lot more content and stuff designed around kids, because you also have to understand that most adults don't want a bunch of kids running around, banging around the tables when they're playing games on a Friday or Saturday. So it's kind of a delicate balance here, I think. But very good point, Malia. Robert Conley says, Thaitis, that will one of the questions that will be addressed. I'll bring up. I will bring it up to note that non-human output being sold is our. Oh, okay, well, talking about AI. Foogly, your feathers always need fluffing. Dieta says copyright. Don't know why I keep adding this stupid W. Bad Mike says there'll always be a place for low to mid-price gaming cons because if you bring kids, you can afford them. Sean of Car, how you doing? On AI, we'll get to that in a minute. Glenn on 10 cars.
What's that mean?
I think he is on 10 Cars channel watching the vlog.
Glenn? There's Glenn?
We are slumming here.
I got to agree with you, Don, on the say, what the market will bear. I just am in different positions right now. I've been going to North Texas for at least 10 years or for more, but now that I'm retired and Mike, but like I said, if the market bears it, it's a good. I'm not saying it's not a good con, but it's a good con. And if it fills the people's needs for that kind of thing, yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yes. Bad Mike talks about pricing. He says if you don't have kids playing, then the games will die out. If a father of 4 kids have to pay $400 to get the entire family in, then they'll find something else to do. Yeah, exactly. This isn't Disney.
True. Yeah.
Glenn, he says it's DM Corey. So I think he's.
Hey Corey, how you doing? Come on sometime. Yeah.
Okay.
There goes him.
I am going to address Johnny Rockets, which is a no comment, but I'm going to read it just because I'm going to be a fair guy here. Johnny Rocket from Space Station Nunya, right there you can tell, says, I admire the show. I admire the attempt to talk about the issues, but why not talk about real issues? You all whine about the same thing every week. We say boring. Well, Johnny Rocket, you have the floor here. You could have asked a non-boring question.
I love the show, but you're all boring.
Yes.
Yeah. So why are you watching?
Thank you for the algorithm boost, Johnny Rocket. We appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe.
Some of the stuff we don't want to talk about. Okay.
Exactly. Oh, you know what? This is actually Kim from Clarksville, Indiana. Actually mentions author Malia Start, who Malia is Malia 9271 on our chat. Kim from Clarksville, Arkansas says, I enjoyed your interview the other day with the young author. That is Malia. I would love to see more interviews with new creators, or how about you all having a new segment where viewers can ask you questions? We already kind of have that here in 2 ways. We do have the viewer mail, which you mailed in, Kim. Appreciate your comment. But also you can come in, Kim, in the comments section. We'd be happy to chat. You ask a question. I think we hit the salient comments. Love to hear from you. So thank you very much. This one is from Tom from Cape Nettic, Maine. Never heard of Cape Nettic, Maine. If Tom was on here, he better tell us about Cape Nettic, Maine, I'm sure. Tom says, and this is not Tom from Tabletop. Right. Tom from Cape Nettic, Maine says, how do you react to claims that the game industry today pretty much sucks? It's packed with simplistic formula-based games, repetitive combat-based rules, no real interesting or engaging rules or tropes. And do you think that small and large game design companies are pretty much nailing their own coffin shut with this? I think that's a pretty interesting question.
It is an interesting question. I don't agree with the thesis of it, but
no, neither do I. But I think if you look at in the context of Wizards of the Coast,
right?
Okay, Wizards of the Coast. I think because they are so big and they have an IP so huge as Dungeons and Dragons, they have made very, very, I'm not going to say they calculatedly did this, but they definitely did it. They've kind of stepped on their own, you know what, with trying to, they have definitely performed knee-jerk reactions when it comes to responding to what they think the public vibe is. Instead of really getting people involved in the design of the game that knows about what the current pulse is, what people like, what people don't like.
They're always looking to see which way the wind blows.
Yes, but they are, I believe, and I think that 2026 is going to show that they are changing a little bit of their ways with their new management. They do have a new CEO who is definitely tuned into gaming. Eric, I think you know who he is, and a little bit of his history. The new guy behind Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, God. Well, I can't remember his name. It's not, the guy who came after Cox. No.
That's one way to put it.
We'll keep that one in the little corner there, folks.
Yeah. And I actually was speaking about him the other night too, but now I could picture his face. That's bad. But I could picture the face of the president of the D&D franchise.
Yes.
But I can't actually remember his name. But he's coming in with the vision to control under his power all the IP. So therefore, you actually are making changes that are across the brand, and you can make the brand work in synergy. As before, it was kind of working against itself at times.
Yes.
And he seemed to be an old school gamer. But
also regarding smaller game creators, and I think that this is kind of a thing that some small game creators have run into, is sometimes when you are the sole captain of the ship that you're sailing on, if you will, it pretty much becomes not so much what is best, it's what I like.
Mm-hmm.
And that you can get in trouble. Yeah,
I got it. Dan Ayub. Thank you, sir.
yes.
You're the best. You're the bestest from this New Yorker.
and I think one of the critical things here is when it comes to game design is one of the best things you can hire, one of the best kinds of people you can hire for game design is the person whose job is also to say, you know what, that's not a good idea.
Yeah, well, but if you have somebody in the company who runs the place and it's what he likes, if they were really good at the pulse of what people like and he likes it too, that's the best. If they're like Walt Disney had a great idea of what the public would want. If you got somebody in their company like that, they're going to succeed. But that's
as opposed to now, where Disney doesn't really quite know what the public wants. But
well, I'm talking about Walt Disney himself.
No, I got you. But listen,
if you know, that's rare. I'm not saying it's rare, but it's not very often.
I mean, listen, there's a plethora. I love that word, right? It's a great word from a classic movie. But there's a plethora of options and games and writers and publishers to choose from. Mm-hmm. If you can't find something that you like, then maybe you're not looking close enough. Or maybe you like the games from the 70s, like Mike brought up, where most of them were confusing as hell and
yes,
pretty shitty.
Very, very complicated. That was why I highlighted comment. But another comment was made by somebody, and that is, and I'll get to a couple of comments, but very, very accurate point here was made by him. But anyway, Rob Conley says you have to be careful with the statement that the hobby industry is filled with X. The reason being that thanks to technology and internet, the barrier to publication has dropped. Yes. It is it's like book publishing now. The bar for publishing is very low now, and that's why there's so much self-published stuff out there that is not prime, if you will.
You're going to find crap.
Yes, but go ahead. Eric.
Find a review site that does good reviews that you line up with. Because I'm going to warn you, you're not going to line up with certain review sites because it's not what you like. Okay, but find someone whose tastes are kind of like yours, and then you'll have an idea of what you should be looking at.
And you don't always have to agree with them either.
Exactly, but here comes the elephant in the room, and Thyatis, thank you, my good man. You just hit it. Don, I recently had an idea for games I play tested. I thought was a cool idea, but the play testers hated it. So I dumped it. This is the reason why also you see a lot of I'm not going to say garbage, but not a lot of really well done games that come out is because play testing is something a lot of game designers do not do anymore.
Right. Well, they just don't do it with that 2E and the Splat books, but that's besides the point.
yeah, exactly. Splat.
I'm recalled about 15 or so years ago, I went to the Gamma trade show in Vegas, and this one company came out with this dice game of Marvel characters They're large D6s, and inside there's a little mini, and you roll and we play with it. And one of the guys says, "There's no game here. All they got are PI.
Mm-hmm.
That's it." And I don't think they ever went nowhere with that game. So yeah, that's kind of an example of what we're talking about here.
Okay, I'm actually going to. There's a question by Paul from Boscobel, Wisconsin.
Boscobel.
I checked. I was telling guys I had to go look.
Boscobel.
Boscobel.
Is that what you make?
This is a AI question, but it's a different take. That's why I want to mention it, because I know we just got done talking about AI. But Paul says AI hot topic. AI is a topic I think many vloggers point fingers at, as it's easy to do. So how about answering this question with an actual answer instead of AI is bad or AI is good? So how can you all say AI is bad, yet say AI some ways is good? In fact, one or two of you admit using AI in your content. We just covered that. But This is where he makes his point. He says, yes, we know AI is a nasty topic among some people, but who cares if small artists are put out of business? They charge too much anyways, so don't you make omelets by breaking eggs? Some of your panel seems to not get that. Please discuss.
Artists get paid what
he's basically saying that AI is, and I think he's talking probably more the visual artist than he is the content artist.
Yeah, I don't think he's talking like writer.
And visual world, it's kind of a dirty word, AI.
Well, it is, and I'll just say this, and I'll stand back and let people have their say. Is my point is this: is when I first started Wizard Tower Games, my artwork, I bought some of its stock art from people like Eric Lofgren and Dean Spencer and such. But also there was some artists that said, listen, I know you're just starting out. I'd like to help you. You can use my artwork. Just cite me. That kind of just being simply nice is something that I think loyalty has a lot to do with it. Yeah. And I get you got to break eggs to make omelets, but I don't think putting small artists out of business because they're trying to make money is really a valid argument for AI.
No, but I will say I'm gonna step on somebody's eggshells when I say this. But I think the fear when it comes to artists and AI, listen, the top-notch artists have nothing to fear. The artists that are top of that tier right below them have nothing to fear, because good art does more than just give you an image. It gives you a feeling. Okay, it gives you intangibles, and AI is not very good at the intangibles. It's good at giving you an image, but good art has soul to it. It has motion to it. But you have artists that are good enough. All right, and you know what? That's great. They're the ones that are going to get a pinch on this, but not a huge pinch, because honestly, I think most publishers would rather pay a couple of dollars for original art than skimp. Now, there are exceptions to that rule, but I think that even the lower tier artists, what do you want to call it, those that don't have the top rungs being hit all the time, I don't think they have as much to fear from AI as you think, because the public is going to, it's almost like genuine, right? People are going to be stamping their products as genuine artwork, genuine this. It's going to be a selling point. And I think it's going to be AI a lot on websites. It's going to be AI a lot on free product, but I think for paid product, I think we're going to still see a lot of natural artwork, human artwork. You know, I think that has value that is just beyond the image. I think it has value as a selling point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have a problem with AI art as long as you admit you're using it.
Right.
There's the big kicker. A lot of guys don't say they use it.
There's a good comment here. AI is raising the bar for mediocrity in the field of visual art. It's
Yeah.
the mediocre artists that are feeling the pressure. Good artists aren't too concerned. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Yeah.
and that's true.
Yeah.
But I think even the mediocre artists are still they're gonna have to work harder. I'm gonna tell you that much. They're gonna have to
Yeah.
work harder because there's gonna be those fringe publishers that don't care if they use AI art, but anybody who's established is gonna want to use.
Well, you go into like the board game makers support group on Facebook. It's got like 25,000 members, and it is hard to find anybody who's anti AI in there. They all love AI, and the most common argument I hear is, well, it's because I don't have to pay for it. It's free
Right.
and it's economically viable for me. I mean, it's AI, anything free is economically viable, but the problem is, I don't know. I just think that to me, it's a little bit of a loyalty thing to the people that helped me out when I needed it. You know,
Yeah.
yeah. Shonaruf Core says six-figure druids aside, six-finger druids aside, AI art isn't created; it's copy, paste, and parse portions of already created art, thereby not giving you a copy, but giving you an amalgamation of others' art.
Not quite. It learns off it, but it's not copying and pasting other art.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Copying the
learning
style.
styles. It's copying styles. It's
Yeah.
copying aspects and ratios and reinterpreting. But it's being trained off of somebody else's art. Now you can
Yes.
argue that most artists are trained off of somebody else's art, but that's not an argument that we're gonna. We don't have enough time for that argument.
No, we don't.
No.
And that's the only other AI question. Thank God in here. Thayada says AI will take the place of the mediocre, but it's also going to replace the very good as well. It may not replace the absolute best, but will push everyone up or out. And real quick, Rob says, here's a point I don't think anybody raised about AI art. What if novice artists use it as a form of critique? Take a drawing, submit, and ask LLM to evaluate and what to work on. I mean, it's sort of like the person throwing their idea into ChatGPT and asking for feedback. I mean, again, and I get this all the time. I get stuff submitted to me, and I ask somebody, "Is there AI art in this?" And they lie and they say no. And you can tell people it's AI art because the last time I checked, human beings don't have 7 fingers, and some of the AI still has that in there. Or there's things that you can look for, and AI is getting better.
Yeah,
it's getting hard to tell.
Remember that one of the first times I called you is the Gangbusters BX book of the first page on there. It's like, is this AI? Because there's no real words in the signs.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I kind of like, you using it? No,
Yeah, exactly. And the thing is, and those are the weird things that people do. It's because a lot of times what happens is as an artist, you'll submit something to a game company and you purposely leave it a little bit loose because you're not trying to give them everything in case they try to take it from you.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's AI is just a hot topic. It's going to be a hot topic. It's starting to calm down now. I noticed there's not so much screaming about it, but there's a reality, people, and you heard it here probably for the 20 million time from other places. Sorry, like it or not, AI is here to stay.
Mm-hmm.
It's a tool. It's a tool. Just think about it.
Use it as a tool.
Yeah,
exactly. So, all right, on to the other question. I'm trying to think which one I want to read. I'll read this one. Sordak the Long from Valkalker, and he admits this. He says, yes, I'm using my character name. Serious question, though. You all are champions of free speech. I respect that. However, how do you react to the recent shutdown of Gamers on Games, the YouTube channel? I know the man running it is not on some of your favorite person lists, but what is your reaction to this? I think it is YouTube overreacting, overreaching, and silencing free speech. Please, I'd love to hear each of your takes on this.
Could you refresh us on that?
I don't even know anything about it.
Okay, Gamers on Games is ran by a man by the name of Dave Simpson. It originally was primarily a Gamers on Games, talking about gaming. It's a vlog on YouTube, or was a game on YouTube.
right.
Dave became very political. Dave is very pro-gay, pro-trans, which is fine. But Dave became very political, and Dave became a little bit notorious, especially in the Warhammer community, because he got into several very highly talked about in the Warhammer folks areas.
Oh, he did
Argument.
that for clicks, by the way. Folks.
Yes, he was.
That was
Yes, and he also made jokes about children dying and being cremated, and then when people would say, "Hey, that's not cool," my kid died. This is another person talking to him. He would mock him. So he was very he's Dave Simpson, but his channel, I believe, about a week ago was terminated finally by YouTube.
Yep.
So my take on it is this, and I'll just say it like this: I will freely admit I am not Dave's favorite person. Dave is not mine, but also, YouTube has policies that they enforce, and if you violate their policies enough, you're going to have your channel nuked. That's just a flat handle of it. Is YouTube silencing free speech? In many times YouTube does. I believe that emphatically. Yeah. But when you have content that is deliberately antagonizing to people in the tone,
right.
that his channel was, then I'm not saying he deserved to be canceled out, but I will say that you're taking your channel's life in your own hands when you have content of that nature.
Mm-hmm.
This is my take on it, and Dave's the only person who at convention asked me if I needed to have security assigned to me because Dave was attending. So that tells you the relationship I have with Dave and his public words about me. But you don't understand the First Amendment when you bring the First Amendment into this conversation. Yeah. The First Amendment does not apply to a private service.
That's right.
In YouTube and Facebook and Rumble. Now, Rumble says they're not even Rumble has restrictions on what you can say. Okay, they're a lot freer. But when you say, I'm going to have a YouTube channel, all right, don't poke the bear. There are words that people, they go, oh, he terminated his own existence instead of saying another word because certain words can flag.
Well, real quick, regarding terminating your own existence, there's another thing that Dave pulled. And actually, people who did not like Dave, like me and Eric, got worried about him. Mr. Simpson went ahead on his YouTube channel, nuked his entire channel a couple years ago, put everything on private, and then put one video up with a black screen, and that was the MASH theme song, which is about ending your own existence.
Yeah.
And then he went dark, and people were messaging him like me. I was messaging on my Twitter going, "Hey, buddy, I know we don't get along, but are you okay, man? You need help on something?" Eric even did a video about it going, "Hey, listen, man, are you okay?" And he took great joy in that.
Yeah.
And then he just came back like everything was fine. So not a cool guy at all, in my opinion.
Not at all. But again, don't bring the first. As a New York City police officer, I worked many a detail where I had to protect those who exerted their First Amendment rights to call for, I don't know, the non-existence of people like me at the time. And that was protected under the First Amendment. But you're on YouTube. It is not a public. It is not a government-run public entity. The First Amendment protects you from government censorship. Yes. Does not apply to YouTube, drive-through, whatever. All these private companies. To mix that into the conversation, you're doing a disservice not just to the First Amendment, but you're doing a disservice to YouTube, because then you're going to go, well, they shouldn't have done that. No, they told you when you signed up for this channel. Maybe you didn't read the 40,000 pages of microprint, but they're telling you that they have regulations and rules that you have to follow.
Also, as in life, First Amendment does not protect you from whatever consequence comes from what you say.
Well, also, it's like if I walk up to Glenn at WizardCon and start cussing him out, and Glenn says, "You keep that up, I'm going to pop you in the jaw." I have been warned. So when Don gets popped in the jaw, and you do not get banned from YouTube arbitrarily, they send you warnings.
Oh, yeah.
You get lots of warnings. And on top of that, and this goes right in Eric's comment, and I'll pick on Thyatis. Let's say I don't like what Thyatis says here. I can literally say right now, Thyatis, I'm banning you from my channel because I don't like your speech. I can ban him. Guess what? I'm not violating Thyatis' First Amendment rights
No.
because this is our show.
That's a consequence.
Exactly. And so YouTube has rules. Eric jokes all the time on his channel. Oh, we can't say that because I don't want this channel nuked, because Eric knows.
Right.
And that's like Eric talks about, why do a lot of creators really, really despise and or are they afraid of live content? Well, because the big names like Ginny D and such know that if they have people like Eric or Don on their channel, they risk certain things being said because we have no filter that matches theirs, but it is the way it is.
That's why I can't get on these other shows. I associate with you guys.
Exactly. Exactly, Thayed. But the thing is, rules are rules, and whether I don't like a lot of the rules Facebook has, but I am beholden to their terms and their rules because I choose to go on their platform and put my content.
Yeah, another way to say it is they're not a public forum. Some people think they are because they're on the internet, but according to case law, they're not classified as a public forum. A public forum is like you go down to the local courthouse or you go down to the local park. That is a public forum. That's a place that has supposed to at least have open access to everybody. You don't have like a subscription. You don't have a login. Right. You just walk in and start doing your thing.
And that's why every website has a thing called terms of use.
Yes.
I can create a social media website that says terms of use. You cannot say bad things about Don Samora. That's legal. It's my site, my rules.
That's right.
Now, someone may not like that and they may want to come on and bash Don, but if my terms of service say that you can't, or, there's religious social media websites that literally say that you cannot say GD. I'm using just the general term, GD. If you utilize that, you'll be banned, and they enforce it. Why? Because it's their website, their terms of use.
Right.
So
it's like no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Exactly.
Yeah. Again, these are YouTube. We forget, and I say I don't forget, but people in general forget that. Whoa. But everybody uses YouTube. It's got to. The First Amendment must apply.
No,
it doesn't. It doesn't.
Yeah, and so I guess my final statement, and I'll leave the rest up to everybody here to say it, is regarding Dave Simpson Gamers on Games. Do I support Dave Simpson's right to disagree with Don? Yes, he has that right. Do I support Dave's right to support who he wants and condemn who he wants? Yes. But if you're going to get into pissing matches with people online on other people's platforms, then realize that you are beholden to the rules of that platform. Dave Simpson obviously stepped over the line somehow on YouTube, and he has paid the consequences. Now, he can appeal it. I know that YouTube allows that. The chances of having your appeal accepted in YouTube to say we're wrong are slim to none. Yeah. But on the same token, it is what it is. So bottom line is, when you join someone's website, don't read their terms of service. That's fine. But don't get mad when you get nuked.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a consequence. You have consequence for everything, either whether it's good or bad.
Yes. Gamers on Games, Mike, is gone. Yes.
Yes, it is gone.
But he has promised to come back. Now, I'm going to tell you something else. I know somebody else who's been banned from YouTube, and the review process is not measured in weeks, certainly not days. It is almost measured in calendar years. Okay, and that's just to get to the point where they say they're going to review your case. So, and by the way, that ban generally goes by your IP too. So if you try to come back, good luck.
Well, and not only that, but let's face it, when you are an antagonistic as Dave Simpson was on his YouTube channel, if you try to create a secondary channel, you probably have a long list of people that are saying, "Hey, I'm reporting this to YouTube."
Oh, yeah.
So, as Bad Mike says, nothing of value was lost. I was not a fan of his content. I engaged him early on in a positive manner. He got upset at me. He has a right to be, so it is what it is. But, we take chances here on this channel when we use the F word.
Yeah, saying fuck is not a.
No,
There's
but
a word,
on the same token,
there's one that runs with baseball term. I'm not going to say the baseball term.
it starts with C, and anybody using this in chat will be removed from this channel and immediately, because that is one word that we
There's
did not use.
consequences. I'm telling you right now.
That's right. Yep. Starts with C. Consequences. Absolutely.
Consequences. I don't care if you're Irish or Australian or
exactly.
Yeah, should
Bad Mike House should have been named. Gamers on Games could have been called Garbage on Garbage.
Yes. Garbage on Garbage. GOG.
Yes. So that was Sordak. I'm glad we got your question answered. And again, I'm sorry, this is taking up the entire hour. It's 10 questions.
That's fine.
I kind of figured it would. So.
I'm going to not read one question just because I'm not going to give Mr. Lawsuit Filer any more attention. I don't think he needs it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
So you're welcome. But Truth Seeker doesn't give a name or anything, so I guess you know where this is going real quick.
Oh, okay.
It goes, how does the panel feel about the recent felony charges, which I'm surprised. I'm actually surprised at this. Not you? Oh, it is. How does the panel feel about the recent felony charges and arrest warrants issued in North Carolina against Don Zamora? As I recall, a certain person whose only crime was to try to help the gaming industry and was the only man who was man enough to stand up against WotC's machine warned prison time was coming. So how is Don wanting to explain away this series of new events that will soon hit the game groups? Please insert your denials below. Guys, would you write me in prison in North Carolina, please?
Dude.
Right.
Gaming material.
Can someone please go ahead and send me bread with a file in it?
Yeah. I'll send you a copy of the BX rules. So you're
I appreciate that. I'll be needing them. So, Voldemort, it's alive.
But, listen, somebody's got to give me one downvote per video. So
exactly, and we'll read one more now. We got this one. Turd Chucker from Area 51. Interesting name. This is actually kind of not a bad question. It says Tara. It kind of goes in with the original because we'll touch a little bit over the topic. It says tariffs and the talk of refunds are on several game groups topics right now. How do you argue for or against refunds to companies who paid them? Is this not double dipping by the companies if refunds are given? They just bank the cash from passing the cost to the customer to themselves by getting a refund.
Yeah, because they don't actually pay in the end, they don't actually pay the tariff. I mean, on paper, they're the ones that pay it. But then just with taxes and other expenses and stuff, that all gets passed to the end user. It's ultimately the end user that pays all of those expenses. So if they were to refund that, it should realistically go to the people who bought the product because they're the one that ultimately has to shoulder the expense.
Here's the public disagreement among the panelists at the Vlog of Many Things.
Oh, no.
No. Have you ever heard of cost of goods sold, the taxes that you pay on cost of goods sold? Also on top of that, if refunds are issued for the tariffs that companies pay, Steve, how many companies have paid those tariffs, but in fact have not passed any increased cost to the customer? And I'm not talking about big corporations. I'm talking about more of the small gaming. We're talking about small companies, because our worry is if we pass our costs of increased cost of goods to our customer, we're going to basically price ourselves out of existence.
Oh, yeah.
Well, here's my thinking on that then, is if the expense went to the end user, the refund should go to the end user. If you absorbed it, then it should go to you, but it has to be proven along the way who actually ate the cost. And then from there, refund
obvious.
Accordingly.
That's obvious because you look at it, did they raise their prices? But also, and this is a proven fact, because I actually did research for the show because we're going to talk about tariffs, is the average company that sells more than $5 million in product per year, under that, actually, for every dollar in tariff that they paid, actually only increased prices to their customer 5 cents on the dollar because of being priced out of the market and such. So that would be a, you know, it's a tough thing, because if tariffs should be refunded to companies, which I believe they should be, then you know because a lot of people misunderstand something still to this day. They think tariffs are paid like, oh, the Chinese are paying the tariffs. No, tariffs are a tax on the importer.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. So for those that don't quite understand how the math works, the argument is if we put a tariff on Chinese goods, it makes it, quote, more competitive to goods coming from other countries because like China undercuts everything.
Right.
But again, China's not the one paying that end cost. The end cost is being paid by the consumer. So you could have gotten your cheaper Chinese goods before the tariff, or your more expensive Chinese goods after the tariff. Does it hurt China? Yes, because they sell less because we forced their price to increase. But what's the end result? I don't think we figured that one out yet.
Well, the thing is am I in favor of refunding tariffs to small companies? Yes, I am. Am I in favor, if they wanted to do it, is to do some type of calculation based upon whatever? That's fine. But the problem is it would get so messy and so expensive that it pretty much, I think it would just be, I think it's just more easier just to refund the tariff to the company, because so many companies did just absorb the cost of it, and so many companies did go ahead and, yes, they might have increased prices, but it wasn't a buck for a buck.
Right.
Because if that was the case, then people would see a set, an RPG that's $49.99 be $100. Because for a while there, those tariffs were 125%.
When the tariffs were announced, I went out. I was like, I'm going to get my Mac Mini before those prices go up. Well, guess what? It was $499 at Micro Center, and 6 months later, it was $499 at Micro Center.
Mm-hmm.
So Apple didn't increase their prices because I'm sure they didn't have stock from 6 months later. Still
Yes.
in the warehouse.
Well,
I'm going to have to blow over to Discord. You all keep the lights shining without me.
We will.
Mr. Tenkar has the speakeasy in Discord, so if you do want to go over there and say hello, it is a verbal only chat live.
We got video.
Oh, do you? You do. That's right. I've been there a few times on video.
We don't broadcast it. We don't record it. It's kind of like Vegas. What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
We don't record anything.
That's
they don't.
Cross our hearts, right?
Well, Eric, thank you for coming on tonight.
Oh, always. All right, folks, everybody in the chat, thank you so much. By the way,
Eric.
I noticed something. I could never see another update on if you're using Restream and you are a guest that is pushing out to your own channels. I can now see my live count.
Good. So they kind of moved it around a little bit.
Right. Yeah. I could before only the host could see the total count.
Yes.
I could see so at one point.
See, that's smart. I like that.
Yeah. So at one point we had 44 between YouTube and Restream. So on my side alone. So thank you very much. Appreciate it. And I'll catch some of you folks over on Discord.
All right, guys. Talk to you later, Eric.
Bye-bye.
Thaddeus makes a really good point here. Thaddeus goes, the U.S. government will fight the refunds based on the laws I mentioned and the amount of money lost in lawsuit. That's just it. It's. I'm not saying this is going to happen, but what I'm saying is, and Thaddeus makes a really good point, because it would just be so expensive, But again, that's why look who's talking about litigating this. Nintendo, the big companies. Malia says most of the publish your own books are made overseas, not American made. Why on earth would you have books made overseas to be shipped into the country I live in? Well, it was much more economical when you bought in bulk to publish overseas. Mm-hmm. And smaller printer binders like me were affected by that. But since the whole tariff thing happened and all that, we've received a boom in people saying, listen, I want to go PO, not POD. Well, POD is a big thing now, but also saying publish locally, publish US. So, Rob, don't know if you're going goodbye, but if so, talk to you later. Thanks for being in chat tonight. Sausage Heads, later. Talk to you later.
Later.
Yep. Fugly says they don't record in case people aren't wearing pants. Yeah. And I deliberately had my last adventure published locally. Yes, and that's good. That's a really good thing. But yeah, so there we are. I think we're going to move the whole ISBN EAN 90,000 chat until next week.
I'm hoping to publish all my books with Don, because if you're looking back at my book, it says published and printed in the United States.
Bingo.
Yeah. And D2D won't allow me to do that, which is one of the reasons I'm working to get it back, or get all my stuff over to him.
Yes.
Right.
And see, that's something maybe we could carry next week, because we're going to be having another author on, Christine Bontrager, on next week. She's going to be talking about her children's books, but we're going to get in also, I think, at the same time, about the ISBN EAN, about some of the things to be careful of in dealing with, because one of my authors actually yesterday ran into one of the, I'm not saying it's a scam, but it is definitely a way to get authors money. Basically a review for cash type thing. Yeah. Exactly, Steve. So, yeah, but it's 9:00. Maybe we should just wrap it up, guys. It's been quite the stimulating chat, and also email. Well, let's see, anything else talking about that, and then POD only. Well, the tariffs are going to be a thing pretty much of the past now, but there's also a lot of other options, which we're going to be for publishing.
So much for nuke and the IRS.
Yep, exactly. Yes, and that's what our target is. We want to be able to become a publisher that smaller authors can publish with, that has a good size reach, and that offers a baseline service. So, Steve, real quick, Fugly would like to know what your ears look like, because right now they just look blue. He's got them. Told you.
Look, they're still blue.
That's right.
Yep, they're not elf ears.
So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight. I will go ahead and we'll end this right now. It's past 9:00.
Buy my book.
Buy Glenn's book. Steve,
go find me and
buy my books.
Buy Steve's books too.
Yes. So we will be back next week. Like I said, we're going to be interviewing another author, Christine Bontrager, and also talking about some publishing things to watch out for. So if you're book publishing, some little traps and things. We're going to be talking about the 90,000 ISBN EAN code, and who knows what else, whatever the chat brings up. So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight.
Probably see you guys next Tuesday.
Yep. Oh, next Tuesday, yes, at 1:00. We're doing a Tuesday lunch hour. Steve will be there also, I believe.
Yep.
And
we even have Eric. Who knows?
Who knows? Eric and whoever else pops in. That's kind of like an open mic night for us. Open mic afternoon.
Pretty much.
Yep. So everybody, thanks for tuning in tonight, and we will see you guys next week.
Good night, folks.
Good night.